If you think you know what makes up the 4 pillars of hip-hop culture, please stay tuned because we want to test your knowledge. We've already discussed what is religious about religion. And now it's time for us to bring into focus the other element of this course, which is hip-hop culture. And there's really no better place to have this discussion than right here at Rap-A-Lot Records, one of the major points of hip-hop development in the city of Houston. Now we'll hang here for a minute while we go over a working knowledge of the key elements of hip-hop culture, starting with its origins right here in the United States. Now before we start talking about hip-hop culture, we want to try to give it some sort of definition. Now, hip-hop culture is one of the most significant cultural developments of the 20th century. Its impact is global and it reaches across many cultural realms. Students that choose to take this course will gain a working knowledge of hip-hop culture, not to mention its key elements, key vocabulary, and its history, which is very important and vital to this course. As we speak about the formation and development of hip-hop culture in the United States, it's important to define these terms. Now, hip-hop culture develops within the urban areas of America as young people in these areas seek to develop a language, a way of being, and also a sense of self that not only explores but explains their own circumstances. When Pimp C and I sought to start UGK, one of the things that we really wanted to focus on was defining ourselves not only as individuals, but also defining our surroundings, our community, and our city. Being from a small town of Port Arthur, we grew up with a lot of pride about that community. And though a lot of hip hop in the area was starting in the city of Houston, and we knew we'd have to go to Houston to develop our sound and also to make our bones, so to speak, we wanted to make sure that we didn't lose touch with the place that we'd come from and the individuals that we were. So we sought to use key vocabulary, key terminology, and different things that take place really only in that part of the country. Using words like trill helped to separate us from the big boys in the city of Houston while also helping to define and identify ourselves. We wanted to make sure that we represented the city of Port Arthur and Southeast Texas to the fullest, but we didn't want to do things that made us stand too far out from Houston's hip hop scene so that we could try to assimilate to the movement. The culture of hip hop is composed of 4 key elements. The first element being rap, second element being DJ, the third element being breaking or breakdancing, and the fourth element, which is visual art, or normally referred to as graffiti. The first element we're going to talk about is rap. Now, rap is the vocal extension of hip hop. Most people know rap as a form of poetry that's usually performed on top of music, behind a DJ soundscape, or a cappella in a circle most people would call a cipher. Primary examples of hip hop rappers in Houston, of course, would be myself, but also other people like Mr. Scarface and Killer Calione. These are people who primarily focus on lyrical dexterity when they perform rap. The second element of hip hop would be the DJ element. Now, most people know this as the musical element or extension of hip hop. The DJ's job is to provide a soundscape, either with a rapper or without, to entertain people and to get them in a certain frame of mind or to have them feeling a certain type of way, as we like to say. Notable DJs from Houston, of course, include DJ Screw, who was able to create an entire culture just based on his DJ skills alone. Also, people like Michael Watts, who represents the Swisher House, have been able to help translate this sound from outside of Houston around the world. Now, the third element of hip hop we're talking about would be breaking or breakdancing. This would be the physical extension of hip hop's culture. Breaking is where individuals use physical motions and bend and contort their bodies in order to express themselves either along with the MC in the music or by music alone. It's a way for people to express themselves physically and to kind of sweat through the frustrations and also to connect with other like-minded individuals within the hip hop culture. Many different breaking skills and techniques help people to define who they are and also where they're from. The fourth and final element of hip hop culture would be the visual artistic element, or what many inside the culture refer to as either graffiti or tagging. This is where individuals use different forms of expression artistically, either on walls, buildings, or most notably on trains. Now, individuals within this visual artistic element would use either spray paint cans or permanent markers to draw or write and tag themselves up on different walls, structures, or trains. Now, the term tag is meant to identify. So when a person puts their quote tag up, it's really saying who they are, where they're from, and what they represent. But graffiti can be more extensive, whereas people draw in full collages or paintings and portraits of individuals along with the tags to further identify themselves. Now, hip-hop culture's key elements offer a way for individuals like you to help make life more meaningful, to develop a fuller sense of you as a person and a better understanding of your community. Now, this frame of thought tends to overlap with what we have already come to understand that religion accomplishes. But this work that's accomplished by the hip-hop culture definitely brings it into the conversation of religion. And everything that hip-hop culture wants to suggest or try to get across has a lot to say to and about the nature and the being of religion. Now, as you take this course, you'll become more educated not only about hip-hop's culture and thoughts and feelings about religion, but in the ways that these two worlds tend to overlap. I believe that hip-hop culture and religion have a lot more in common than we've been led to believe. And through this course, we'll be able to bring that into fruition for you. Now that Dr. Penn and I are finished talking about hip-hop and religion, we thought it'd be nice to put together some cool music videos as well as music to kind of further the conversation. If any of you out there choose to dig a little bit deeper in the conversation or want to discuss these key hip-hop elements a little further, feel free to check out the bonus reel. That's what it's there for. Take advantage of social media as well. We think that this conversation shouldn't just live within this course, but should live and breathe outside of this format. So make sure and let people know what you're doing either on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. And as you do, keep this in mind. Religion and hip hop have a lot in common. Both understand the intimate human desire to make life meaningful. The next session will give you a bit more detail on what it is that we're trying to say and further the conversation that we're trying to have. I personally, as well as Dr. Penn, are excited about the opportunity to share our understandings of hip hop culture and religion with you. We hope that you're as excited as we are. Thank you for taking part in this course.